heaven and hell. The speech of angels. 1. 234. Angels talk with each other just as men do in the world, and on various subjects, as on domestic matters, and on matters of the civil state, and of moral and spiritual life. Nor is there any difference except that their talk is more intelligent than that of men, because it is more interiorly from thought. I have been permitted to associate with them frequently, and to talk with them as friend with friend, and sometimes as stranger with stranger. And as I was then in a state like theirs, I did not know otherwise than that I was talking with men on the earth. 235. Angelic speech, equally with human speech, is distinguished into words. It is also by sound uttered and heard. For angels, like men, have mouth, tongue, and ears. They also have an atmosphere in which the sound of their speech is articulated, although it is a spiritual atmosphere adapted to angels, who are spiritual. 235. Angelic speech, equally with human speech, is distinguished into words. It is also by sound uttered and heard. For angels, like men, have mouth, tongue, and ears. They also have an atmosphere in which the sound of their speech is articulated, although it is a spiritual atmosphere adapted to angels, who are spiritual. In their atmosphere angels breathe and utter words by means of their breath, as do men in their atmosphere. In the heavens there is respiration, but it is of an interior kind, from experience. There are differing respirations there, varying in accordance with their states. The evil are wholly unable to breathe in heaven, and they are suffocated if they go there. 236. In the entire heaven all have one language, and, from whatever society they come, whether near or remote, they all understand one another. Language there is not learned, but is implanted by nature with every one, for it flows from their very affection and thought. The tones of their speech correspond to their affection, and the vocal articulations, which are words, correspond to the ideas of thought that spring from the affection. And because of this correspondence the speech itself is spiritual, for it is affection sounding and thought speaking. To anyone who gives any thought to it can know that all thought is from affection which pertains to life, and that the ideas of thought are the various forms into which the general affection is distributed. For no thought or idea is possible apart from affection, their soul and life being from it. This enables angels to know, merely from another's speech, what he is, from the tone what his affection is, and from the vocal articulations of sound or words what his mind is. The wiser angels know from a single series of words what the ruling affection is, for to that affection they chiefly attend. 3. It is known that each individual has a variety of affections, one when in joy, another when in grief, another when in pity and compassion, another when in sincerity and truth, another when in love and charity, another when in zeal or in rage, another when in simulation and deceit, another when in quest of honor and glory, and so on. But the ruling affection or love is in all of these. Therefore, the wiser angels, because they perceive this, know from the speech the whole state of another. This it has been granted me to know from much experience. For I have heard angels disclosing the character of another's life merely from hearing him speak. They also said that from some of the ideas of another's thought they could know all things of his life, because from those ideas they know his ruling love, in which are all things in their order. They know also that man's book of life is nothing else. 237. Angelic language has nothing in common with human languages except certain words that are the sounds of a specific affection. Yet this is true not of the words themselves but of their sounds, on which subject something will be said in what follows. That angelic language has nothing in common with human languages is evident from the fact that angels are unable to utter a single word of human language. This was tried but they could not do it, because they can utter nothing except what is in entire agreement with their affections. Whatever is not in agreement is repugnant to their very life, for life belongs to affection, and their speech is from that. I have been told that the first language of men on our earth was in agreement with angelic language because they had it from heaven, and that the Hebrew language agrees with it in some respects. 238. Because the speech of angels corresponds to their affection, which is of love, and the love of heaven is love to the Lord and love towards the neighbor, it is evident how choice and delightful their talk is. For it affects not only the ears but also the interiors of the mind of those who hear it. There was a certain hard-hearted spirit with whom an angel was speaking. At length he was so much affected by what was said that he shed tears, saying that he had never wept before, but he could not help doing so, for it was love speaking. 239. The speech of angels is likewise full of wisdom because it proceeds from their interior thought, and their interior thought in wisdom, as their interior affection is love. In speech their love and wisdom unite. Consequently, their speech is so full of wisdom that they can express in a single word what man cannot express in 1,000 words. Also the ideas of their thought include such things as man cannot grasp, still less express. This is why the things that have been heard and seen in heaven are said to be ineffable, and such as ear hath never heard nor eye seen. Too, that this is true I have also been permitted to learn by experience. At times I have entered into the state in which angels are, and in that state have talked with them, and I then understood everything. But when I was brought back into my former state, and thus into the natural thought proper to man, and wished to recall what I had heard, I could not. For there were thousands of things not on a level with the ideas of natural thought, and therefore only to be expressed by variegations of heavenly light, and thus not at all by human words. 3. The ideas of thought of the angels, from which their words are derived, are also modifications of the light of heaven, and the affections from which the tones of the words are derived are variations of the heat of heaven. This is because the light of heaven is divine truth or wisdom, and the heat of heaven is divine good or love, and the angels have their affection from the divine love, and their thought from the divine wisdom. The ideas of angels, from which they speak, are expressed by wonderful variegations of the light of heaven. Next, I will post the speech of angels too. Thank you.